Hi Taurus, welcome to your May 2019 Astro Update. It's Rena here. Well, happy birthday, Taurus. As I record this, we are in mid-April, so the sun hasn't even gone into Taurus. Your solar return hasn't occurred, but by May, for sure, you are in the midst of it. And so the sun is in your first house, and that feels really good because it feels like you are aligned with your identity, with who you really are. And it's, the great thing about the different transits is it allows us to kind of step into other personas in a minor sort of way. So we may feel a little bit differently when the sun is in Aries. We may feel more aggressive, and Taurus, I think, is kind of a mellow vibe. But for you, it can feel very enlivening because to have the sun in the first house, which is the body and the personality, or the I would call it more of the persona. So the persona can be more of how you present yourself to others, but not necessarily the entirety of who you are. For many of you, you are going to have your solar return in May, and that, technically it's when the sun is at the exact same degree as your birthday. Now, that might not be on your exact birthday on that date. Sometimes it depends on the year when that degree will fall. It'll probably be the day before or after, if not on the exact same date. On the 4th, we have a new moon in Taurus, and this is at 14 degrees. So especially if you're born around the 4th of May, this is going to be particularly important for you, because it's not only going to be your solar return, but it's going to be a new moon at the same time. So if you're born at around the 4th, or you could just say 14 degrees, this is going to be quite a year. The coming year is going to be a very, I would say, good one, but also maybe a lot of new things happening for you compared to other years. So this is for every Taurus person in the first house. It's starting this whole new cycle. This is your new moon for the next year because it is in your sign. So make those new moon wishes. What do you want to bring into your life in the coming 12 months? Have a sense of intention. Don't just have a party. Have some things that you'd like to create and new things that you'd like to bring into your life. Be very intentional about it. On the 6th, Mercury goes into your sign as well. Lots of first house activity. So your voice is consistent with who you are. This is very good for promoting yourself, because when Mercury is in the 12th house, as it is for the first 6 days, it's going to be more abstract, or I don't know if abstract is the right word, but definitely from another planet or another dimension. The 12th house is spiritual. It's not rational. Very psychic, but it's not really conducive for, engaging in linear conversations. So when Mercury is in the first house, it's like, and you have the sun there, that can create this sense of cohesiveness in terms of when you're trying to promote something, when you're trying to promote yourself is really what it is. So if you're looking for a job, if you're looking for some sort of relationship, you can communicate who you are, what you're all about, a lot more effectively. On the 15th, the ruler goes into your sign. So isn't that wonderful? So Venus goes into Taurus on May 15th. And in that first house, that means that half of the month, when Venus is in Aries, the sign before you, it's in the 12th house. And that can bring love undercover for some reason. Maybe you are having some sort of secret love affair and you decide, I don't want to hide anymore. We have to, I'm not going to participate with this unless you're willing to go public with it. And it doesn't mean necessarily cheating or something like that. It could be that the other person, I was going to say, maybe you are seeing a Scorpio and they're just like naturally secretive and paranoid and don't want anybody in their business. But you might feel like, hey, why are you keeping this undercover? I want to bring it out. This is really great for appearance, regardless of what you look like. It's great because everybody thinks you look great no matter what. Venus is the goddess of love and beauty. The first house can be the physical, the body. Did I say fifth? Did I already say that? I don't know. But anyway, this can be a time when you change your look, when you decide to cut your hair or dye it or whatever, do something different, have a different type of, have a makeover or a make under. If you have Leo rising, it would probably be like a make under. Throw away the gold lame. But anyway, so that's happening on the 15th. That just gives a magnetic vibe to your personality. Venus is the attractor. So we think about the law of attraction and somebody who is attractive. Attractive and pretty, I don't think are synonyms because attractive is almost what you say when somebody isn't quite pretty, right? You say they're attractive or they're handsome. They even say women are handsome. I don't want to be a handsome woman, let me tell you. But in any case, they do that because the word attractive, you can be very magnetic to others and not be classically, beautiful. So this can bring good things to you in general. Venus is associated with love, but also with money. So just keep that in mind. Okay. On the 18th, we have a full moon at 27 Scorpio in your 7th house of committed partnership. I was just about to say oy vey, but I'm just being kind of silly. It doesn't have to be anything bad. Could actually be for people who are living together, they decide to tie the knot. And don't look to me to wax poetic about getting married because I'm not and I wouldn't. But there are some people who want that for their own particular reason. And it could be that it's symbolic of commitment. It could be like financial gain or just whatever. But the point is that for some people, they look to it as proof that the other person is serious, that they really want to spend the rest of their lives with them. So the full moon can bring things to a crescendo, in some cases, a breaking point for sure. A culmination was the word I was looking for. But for some people, this is in one of the later degrees of Scorpio. So it could be something where where you have been in a relationship and that other person has had enough. And if that's the case, this is not going to be something that is typically a surprise to you when you're hearing it now, whenever that is. This is going to be an ongoing story. You already know that there is this strain on the relationship. This can also be a time when you learn something about your partner, you gain an insight, or a secret comes out. Full moons can bring out secrets, and the tension is there because the full moon is in a very intense sign. So there's a lot of emotions at play here. And I think this is the flower full moon in May. I think that's what they call it, and that makes sense. Remember that these are, for some reason, Algonquin came into my mind, one of the Indian tribes, Native American tribes. But the Algonquins actually named the pink moon that is in April, the full moon in April, that based on some flowers that are the color of that. But I don't know who named the full flower moon. But remember that in the southern hemisphere, they might have fall flowers that are blooming too, I guess. So that's happening. And then on the 21st, the Sun and Mercury go into Gemini, and this is your second house. This is a house that you rule, Taurus, so this is great too. The fun doesn't end at the end of the month either, because you're going to start having these planets in the second house that you rule, which is your income plus your assets, your possessions, and also your self-esteem. So there can be a shot in the arm when it comes to feeling better about yourself emotionally, having greater sense of pride for yourself, and also maybe experiencing a lot of, really looking at your finances and seeing what's happening and having some healing with your finances. Wait till Mercury goes into that, Venus goes into that house. Then you're really going to clean up. So, so that's what I see for May for you. So if you're interested in any kind of natal chart interpretation, I offer those, and they are looking at the next year, the trends, as well as looking at some of the natal placements, the things that you came into this life with. For some people that are kind of confused as to the direction that they should go into, or is that right? The direction they should go towards, I don't know. You can see things in the chart sometimes that can be very helpful. For instance, for me, when I was just reading about the different placements in my chart, which, by the way, when I first saw my chart, it was back in the day before home computers were a thing. And I can't remember what year that was. I want to say about 1989. I had actually constructed my own chart by hand, and it was fairly accurate, but it was the equal house system. Whereas this is Placidus, which is the unequal house system, which is, I think, commonly used, the most commonly used type of chart out there. And one thing that was really interesting was that I saw how in my unequal house system, I had Neptune in the 6th house, and a lot of books will talk about being very disorganized and all these things, which, hey, I can admit to that for sure. Being kind of like your daily life is this big fog, or you don't know what to do and blah, 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 and stuff like that. I finally found something, I think it was online, a resource, right before I started doing this, where it said that it was a spiritual profession. And I'm like, whoa, that was the first time that I really had any kind of validation for that. And that helped immensely. So you would be surprised. It's basically validation, because a lot of times you will have certain ideas that come to you regardless. It's not that you need the chart to tell you what you're interested in. you will typically have certain passions in life. They may just be hobbies for you, but then you look at the chart and you can see that it's all laid out for you. It's waiting for you. It's something that you can do, but you have to actually take that step. It's not going to do it for you. And then the other piece of that is believing in yourself and thinking that you have something to offer others in whatever it is that is your passion. So, so that's something that really is a passion of mine. So, the link for my website is below. It's rainamoonastrology.com. Once again, happy birthday for those of you born in May and those of you born in April too. Take care. Bye.